This is going to be, when it's all said and done, a campus that's going to impact thousands of lives in West Louisville every day.
We are working very hard to incorporate answers to all of the barriers that people face when they're in the position in life where they don't want to be.
We cannot build a better Kentucky for anybody unless we're willing to build a better Kentucky for everybody.
We've been talking about this a long time, haven't we? This is such a key moment in the history of Goodwill Industries of Kentucky. This building really is about our career services. It's about how we carry out our mission here in West Louisville. And our primary purpose, as we know, is to change lives and help people escape poverty. So now comes that part of the work. You know, we have to make this facility something that many people are going to feel comfortable coming to, getting to know us, comfortable with us, so that they can access what we have and we can help them open up opportunities in their lives. We've been talking about this a long time, haven't we? This is such a key moment in the history of Goodwill Industries of Kentucky. This building really is about our career services. It's about how we carry out our mission here in West Louisville. And our primary purpose, as we know, is to change lives and help people escape poverty. So now comes that part of the work. You know, we have to make this facility something that many people are going to feel comfortable coming to, getting to know us, comfortable with us, so that they can access what we have and we can help them open up opportunities in their lives.
please, again, make your So we're going to try to get rocking and rolling here. Again, welcome. If everybody can find a seat or find a space, we are going to get moving. Again, welcome. There is overflow seating in those classrooms, I believe. TV's going. It's on our YouTube channel. Tune in. Like and follow us on social media. Great. Good morning. I'm gonna get us kicked off this morning. If everybody can settle in and quiet down. I'm never shy of the microphone, as you all can tell. But I'm gonna get my boss Devon to bring us up and get us kicked off here. Welcome everybody to Goodwill. I'm so glad we packed this house this morning. All right, here we go. Bringing to the stage Devon Holt.
Beautiful. West Louisville, we did it! We did it. Welcome to the house that hope built. This is a place where hope will live. It's a place where hope will exist. It's a place where dreams will be nurtured. Hope, H-O-P-E, having only positive expectations. And so if this is a place where hope will live, this is also a place where poverty will die. This is a place, ladies and gentlemen, where lives will be changed, where communities will be improved. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Goodwill West Louisville Opportunity Center. We sent out invitations far and wide because this is a very important day for us at Goodwill Industries of Kentucky. We turned 100 years old last year and felt like we were just as relevant as we were when we started. There was a need for us to feel, and in this space in West Louisville, we are committed to continue to fill that need. We are so very thankful that all of you showed up here today. And I just want to make all of you all aware. I know there's a lot of people standing. You guys can't see what I can see, but this is a jam-packed, beautiful room. There are, however, I will say, classrooms that we've established as overflow for this crowd that have seating, that have televisions there, that are simulcasting everything that happens here. So if you want to have a seat in the classrooms off to the side, feel free to do that so that everybody can get a little bit more comfortable in this space. We are so very thankful that you all are here. This is a huge day for us at Goodwill, and as you can imagine, no organization gets to a point like we have today without many people who have stepped up to be a part of this work, who've supported us, who've championed us, who've been allies and advocates for this work in many different ways. And today, we want to set aside time to recognize all of them. This is going to be a beautiful day where we will hear from our dignitaries, we will hear from some of our partners, we'll hear and celebrate our donors. But before we move too far along on the agenda, recognizing and celebrating those who've contributed in an earthly way, we want to invite our Goodwill full-time chaplain, Rob Moore, to join us on stage for special things.
Peace and blessings, everyone. It's a wonderful day to be here today. As Devon just mentioned, this is a place of hope. To see West Louisville, for me that grew up not too far from here, just very briefly, just to share a quick testimony. Many, many years ago, and I was sharing with Devon yesterday, when my stepfather, the man who raised me, got laid off, right now in an old factory called Strylinkoff, right on, I think, 11th to 12th and Broadway. Ended up getting a job here from the old factory as a janitor. And now for his son to be here and to bless this building, it speaks volumes. As Devon did mention that this is a place of hope, as I would like to use my acronym as hope as healing, opportunity, purpose, purpose, and empowerment. A place for people in West Louisville to finally have the opportunity for great resources and services to restore and setting people and the captives free. So as I bless the building and do a prayer over today's this event, as we kick off to our new space, if you don't mind to join me in prayer. Almighty and eternal, divine, we thank you for this wonderful moment within our community, to be pleased and to dwell in this place. Now, God, we dedicate to your name and to bless us who have gathered here today. In place and also for ourselves to you this day, let this house and every part of this building be used to your glory. O great divine, let it be your devoted service. Let it be your place where your presence dwell amongst here with the people, that services are provided for the people in the community. If it's through a TARC ticket, from getting a meal to a cup of coffee, to financial classes, with all the resources that we provide here at Goodwill. God, allow that this building continue to be in your service. Bless every person that had a part of this project, the vision that is now built. God, we thank you for this day. Bless this place and forevermore, and let your will continue to be done. It's in your divine presence name that we say amen. Thank you.
You know, I got a message last week from a lady who asked me, she said, how can I get tickets for your grand opening? And it made me ask the question, maybe we should have sold tickets for this event. I think we could have done a little bit more fundraising to fill this place up. But in all seriousness, part of what we did do was launch a capital campaign to help pay for this building. That campaign actually is still underway, but I want to acknowledge that there are a number of donors here who helped make this happen. You'll see the donor wall here in the back right now is pretty crowded, so you can't see it all, but there were 600 donors who contributed to this campaign to help make this happen, and I'm really excited and pleased that we've been able to bring so many people together to do good in this community. In addition to that, I'm also very thankful, and I want to pause for a second to acknowledge the fact that we had a special group of donors who helped make this building happen. You know, I'm very thankful for the folks like the Brown Foundation, the Jewish Heritage Foundation, and a number of others that have contributed contributed to this work, Gaines Foundation, and some of our sponsors that we'll talk about here. But we launched an employee giving campaign to help pay for this building as well. And we asked our employees, many of whom are cash registers at the stores at Goodwill where you visit, they're donor attendants at our stores where you visit, and we asked them to support the work that's happening right here at 28th and Broadway. And I'm so very proud to say that that group of individuals gathered $180,000 to support this campaign. We raised a lot of money for this building, but I will tell you there's not a dollar I'm more proud to point to than that of those donors, those donations that came from our staff. And as I've been walking people through this space, they see this beautiful donor wall that is sponsored by our friends at the Louisville Community Foundation. And they see all of those wonderful names there, and they've asked the question over and over again, how can I get my name on that wall? Well, where's Andrew Gillette? Andrew, wave your hand. Andrew's our development director. See him. There's still more room on the donor wall. He can help you make that happen. And what I need you to be aware of is that when you make that donation to Goodwill, that it is going to a good cause, and not just this building. You know, we've committed ourselves at Goodwill to supporting what I call the hardest to serve job seekers in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And these are men and women who are not people who just lost a job and need to brush up their resume to get back into the workforce. These are people who have disabilities, addiction histories, criminal backgrounds, little to no education, little to no workforce experience, transportation challenges, childcare challenges. These are people in many cases who need intense workforce development services. And so when you make a donation to Goodwill, you are supporting those programs and services, and you're also, ladies and gentlemen, supporting people like Kai Carr. Kai, come and share your story with us.
Morning, everybody. Not nervous at all. My name is Kai Thomas Carr. My sobriety date is April the 21st, 2023, and upon awakening this morning, I made a deep and personal commitment to stay clean and sober just for today. On April the 20th, 2023, I was on the 3rd floor of the Jefferson County Jail. I was at the prison jail segment of the cycle that had been going on in my life for 30 years. In 1993, I had just finished high school and was off to college, supporting myself, doing factory work, a little telemarketing. Drinking and drug use was already an everyday thing at that part of my life. But I didn't think I was an alcoholic or an addict because those people were the ones who lived up under bridges, wore those ratty old coats. I wasn't one of them. As time went on, the fun got less and less, and the consequences got more and more serious and more frequent. This went on until school started to get into the way of my drinking and having fun. And I missed enough days of work and school to where they told me not to come back to either one. So now we're up to 1998. I have no job, no money, a drug and alcohol addiction that I'm still trying to convince myself and everybody around me that it's no big deal, I'm just still having fun. And a brand new daughter that has just entered into the world who's looking at me for everything. Under the yoke of alcoholism and immaturity, and without the tools for responsible living, the all too common next step seemed a good idea. With no income and the progressive illness of addiction tightening its grips on me, I thought selling drugs was a good idea. It wasn't. Even though I consider myself one of the good guys, I learned the hard way that you can't walk in mud without getting dirty. And by dirty, I mean all of that dark side energy that comes with the drug lifestyle. I was physically, mentally, and spiritually sick, sliding further and further down the hole of criminality and alcohol and drug addiction, in spite of having a loving and nurturing family who constantly told me I was better than what I was doing. As the years passed and the cycle continued, I got to the point where I was so sick and broke down that the only relief that my alcoholism told me that more drugs was a good idea. It told me that the accumulation of money and things would lead me to some sense of happiness. Until eventually, I find myself once again in the back of a police car, starting that cycle all over again. But on April the 20th, 2023, something happened. While sitting in the jail, a guy came up to me and said, "Hey, I got something for us." You know what he meant. And to my surprise, no. I just said no. I said, "No, I'm good." But I wasn't good. I was tired. I was tired. At that moment, I was a little proud of myself for saying no, but I also was more alone than I'd ever been in my life. I was actually ostracized from the people in the jail because now they were suspicious of me. So now I was an outcast from the outcast. Kind of lonely. When people ask me, with God as my witness, not 2 days after, I was called into the hallway and interviewed for the Chance for Change drug program that's in the Louisville Metro Jail. I filled out the application months earlier, and only 2 days after I told that guy no, I was called. I was told I would never make it into the program, that it was overcrowded and there wasn't any room. But later that same day, I was placed in that A Chance for Change program. When people ask me where my road to sobriety began, I'm proud to tell them at the Chance for Change program in the Louisville Metro Jail. God bless that program. Thank God for that program. And this is where I met a man who helped me change my own life. And his name is Tom Saylor. Good guy. Good guy. Tom came into that jail every Thursday spreading his message, and his message was simple. It was that change is possible, that I just had to do something different. With Tom's help, I realized that every bad thing that has ever happened in my life has been directly or indirectly the cause or the result from drugs and alcohol, whether it was somebody else's use in the beginning and mine later on. In that program pod, I got connected to the AA literature, and I felt I was supported by the staff, the other inmates that was in there, but in the back of my mind, I knew that this was a safe place. And soon it was coming to an end. My release was coming in a few days. And then what? Back on the hamster wheel, back on the cycle. My anxiety level was through the roof, almost about as high as it is now. But everyone and everything I knew was connected to criminality and drug use, everything I knew. To make a long story short, I believed in Tom, and Tom believed in the Goodwill. Walking through the door in the Goodwill, I was made to feel like I belonged there from the very beginning, and the work began immediately. From orientation to soft skills to the RISE program with ADS, and last but not least, I received my adult peer support certification to help others with the addiction of drug and alcohol. Let me add here that these classes were different than the other classes I've taken throughout my life. It seems like I would go to these other places, other programs, and I would learn how to write a resume for 3 months straight. Stuff that, what does writing a resume help for a guy that has absolutely no work history? What do I put on it? The RISE program, coupled with ADS, that's Applied Digital Skills, taught me the ins and outs of Gmail, Microsoft Word, documents, how to create a spreadsheet, and so on. Not to mention, at the completion, I had a Republic Bank checking account, a $300 check to put in it, and a brand new Hewlett-Packard laptop. I love that laptop. And these are actual real-world tools that you need to be connected. And that's the problem when you come out of these jails and these prisons or any of these institutions. When you come out of poverty, you feel disconnected. You're just disconnected. You don't feel part of the team. It's us against them. And that, to me, is the importance of peer support. Peer support is the catalyst, is the segue to let the guys who come from where I come from and the women who come from where I come from know that there are some people and they're not against you. The courtrooms don't hate you. The police don't hate you. The system doesn't hate you, but you have to get connected. You have to connect with society. You have to. My first sponsor told me, and that's Mr. Darrell Wells, who I'm forever grateful to. He told me that I must trust in God, clean house, and help people if I ever want to achieve long-term sobriety. And the only thing that I had to change is everything. I'm here to say that Goodwill is that place of change. And if you're ready and willing to do the work, thank God that the Goodwill now has even more doors open today. Thank you, God. Thank you, Goodwill. And I would also like to add in closing, I want to thank Circuit Court Judge Melissa Logan Bellows for her heart, her wisdom, and her courage. Thank y'all. Stop it. Stop it.
Well, I get to follow that. So I look around and look in this facility and think about Goodwill and our partners, and I say that together we will be more than the sum of our parts. My name is Hugh Hayden. I'm proud to serve as chair of the Goodwill board this year. I want to, before I begin, I want to recognize my colleagues, past and present, on the Goodwill board. I think most of them are up here, but those of you who are here, please identify yourself, raise your hand, and thank you. These people, each and every one of these people, have committed their time, their energy, their wisdom, and their expertise to support Goodwill's mission of providing pathways out of poverty. And significantly, to back up Devon's comments earlier, each and every one of them have also committed their financial resources to Goodwill and to this Opportunity Center. So thank you to each and every one of them. I'd like to particularly recognize former board chairs Dan Hall, Charlie Kane, and Jason Gronick. It was Dan who, as chair, really championed the idea that we needed to be in West Louisville. Dan pushed that, not just about accessibility, but that we needed to be a catalyst for development and growth in West Louisville. It was during Charlie's time as chair that we made the final commitment to carry out this project, put together the financing, and managed to assemble all the details. In Jason's time as chair, that we actually broke ground and managed the construction process. I'm proud to tell you that my timing was perfect. I came in and I get to cut the ribbon. When Dan brought up the idea of doing this, it was an easy decision to bring our services to West Louisville. And as important as that decision was, in my mind, the most important decision that our board or any nonprofit makes is who you hire as your staff. And I'm happy to tell you that our board has absolutely aced that decision. You already met Devon, our Chief External Affairs Officer. You'll hear from Rena, our Chief Operating Officer, and Mark Holman, our Chief Financial Officer, shortly. We have a staff that is exceptional from top to bottom. That staff is led by our CEO, Amy Luttrell. You'll hear from Amy shortly. Earlier today, we had a small private ceremony where we dedicated this facility to Amy, and I invite you to take a look later on at a plaque back here on the wall that memorializes that dedication. Thank you, Amy, and thank you all the staff for your tremendous work and things you do, not just for Goodwill, but that work translates what you do for this community, what you do for the state. Thank you so much. You've heard, and we'll hear more about our focus on helping to remove barriers that prevent people from escaping the cycle of poverty. These barriers take many different forms and impact people in different ways. What's important is that along with our partners, We're committed to a full range of services that help people achieve success, whether that is a first chance, a second chance, sometimes it's a third chance. It's whatever it takes, as many times as it takes, whatever that number is. With that mission clear, it's great to be able to introduce a person who knows that as we do, that it's not just the right thing to do to lift people up, but for Kentucky to achieve its potential, we need each and every one of the 50,000 or so people who are going to come through these doors every year to achieve success and reach their potential. We need that to happen. I'm happy to introduce a person who shares our commitment not only to West Louisville, but to all those throughout Kentucky, our Governor, Andy Beshear.
Thank you all. That is really good for my self-esteem. Thank you. Folks, I got to start by saying, Kai, thank you for reminding us that second chances aren't just the right thing to do, they're what we are called to do. And I hope today that you know there's not an us versus them, it's all of us supporting and being so proud of you on your journey and what you're doing. Today is an incredible day. It's an exciting day. It's a day not just filled with hope, but progress. I think about the fact that we are sitting in a $50 million investment in West Louisville. How incredible is that? That just by building this building, just by doing right, Goodwill is also creating 200 new jobs in West Louisville in this building. And if you want to feel a lot of hope, when you add up the jobs here, the jobs at the Norton West Louisville Hospital, let's thank Norton for what they're doing right next door. You add on that big 300-plus job Stellar Snacks announcement, you add the mayor's announcement of MMY on top of that. In the last 2.5 years alone, we have announced more than 1,000 new jobs in West Louisville. And you deserve a whole lot more. So today is such an exciting day that I'm not here alone. I'm blessed that we have our First Lady, Brittany Beshear, joining us today, as well as our Lieutenant Governor, Jacqueline Coleman. Thank you for being here. Thank you to the entire Goodwill team. Steve, Amy, and Devon, I know you are really proud. Last year, Goodwill helped 3,000 Kentuckians find jobs. And that was before this Opportunity Center opened. That is 3,000 Kentuckians that are going to be able to provide for their family, that are going to be able to better their own lives. And we know when we get someone that good job, it just doesn't better their situation. It betters their kids' situation and their kids' kids' situation. What we're doing here, what Goodwill is doing, is making intra-generational change. Change that will reverberate not just now, but through the decades. And how about the staff at Goodwill? My goodness, raising $180,000 to help build this facility. That just shows you how much they believe in their mission, that they don't just spend their time, get up day after day to give their very best. They even give their own dollars to make it happen. You look at this facility alone, like I said, 200 new jobs with an average salary of $60,000. Pretty special. And because it is opened, this center is going to serve 50,000 Kentuckians every single year. Talk about making major change. These are folks that need a hand up as they work to build a better future for themselves and their family. My faith teaches me the golden rule that we love our neighbor as ourselves. In the parable of the Good Samaritan, that says everyone is our neighbor. No matter if they've fallen on hard times, no matter if this is their 3rd, 4th, or 10th time trying, we are meant to provide that 2nd, 3rd, or 10th chance. It's what we're called on to do. And let me tell you, Goodwill is living out our collective faith and values today, and will every single day in this facility. So if you're struggling, there's a place for you to come. If you are looking for help, there are all these incredible organizations ready to help you. If you want to make life better for your kids or your grandkids, this center is going to be here, and the Goodwill team is going to be ready to greet you. They're going to love you, never judge you, and they are going to help you every step of the way. They're going to be here whether you're battling addiction or looking for second chance employment. And can we just take a moment to thank all the second chance employers out there giving that second chance to so many people. They'll be here if you're looking to earn your GED, or if you're ready to start classes at a college or at a trade school. They'll be here if you're not sure where to start, or if you need help with childcare or transportation and don't know where to go. In short, they're going to be here no matter your needs to try to give you that help that betters your life. That's the mission of Team Kentucky. And we know on this team together, we can meet any challenge, and we'll get through it, and we'll get through it together. And the Goodwill team won't be alone, because on this campus, they opened the door and invited more partners in than I think we've ever seen in a facility. Partners like Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Black Coffee, Kentuckiana Works, the Kentucky College of Barbering, Legal Aid Society, Park Community Credit Union, the University of Louisville College of Dentistry, Volunteers of America Mid-States, and the YMCA of Greater Louisville. This is so much hope in one area and so much opportunity. I think the chair said it exactly right. You know, what we've got going on in Kentucky right now means this is the best chance to get somebody into a good job, to provide that stability, to better provide for their families than at any point in our lifetime. Because when we look at our economy right now, we are on the biggest, best economic win streak in our history. Over $30 billion of new investment in Kentucky over the last 4 years, by far a record. 52,000 new jobs over the last 4 years. We're doing things that the world has never seen. We're building the 2 biggest battery plants on planet Earth, just south of Jefferson County. But to meet that workforce need, it just means we got to provide people a little more help. To do that, we got to make sure that everyone has health care. It's a basic human right, and building the first hospital in West Louisville in 150 years is going to help make that happen. You know, it's an incredibly exciting time. I mean, we were number 3 in economic development nationwide last year, number 2 the year before it. So we know that if we want to build that big, bright future for everyone, it requires us to invest. That's what you see here today at Goodwill. And that's what we need to see in this state budget. It is time to give our public school educators the big raise they deserve. That is incredibly important to building that bright future. And as we continue to invest and create jobs, we've got to make sure they come everywhere, and that more investment and that more jobs come to West Louisville. We've got to make sure we continue to make investments, like that $10 million investment that's expanding Waterfront Park to West Louisville. It's more investments like the NIA Center next door to where there's a central location where people can get their services met. It's more investment like we've made in partnership with Simmons College, one of our proud HBCUs right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It's investments like the reopening of ElderServe and the number of people that it helps. It's investments like the Patty's Run Flood Pump Station, which is going to create 500 additional jobs in this community. And it's partnerships like today. I am so proud of everybody who made it happen. I'm proud of the city of Louisville. Mayor, thank you for your investment in this facility and the leadership you're providing. And I'm really proud of our legislative leaders like Senator Gerald Neal, you're going to hear from in a minute. And Senator, let me just close by mentioning something that's on my heart that you see here today. As long as I'm governor, you will always hear the governor, Commonwealth of Kentucky, say he believes diversity is an asset. It ought to be celebrated. And if the rest of our General Assembly could see what's being done right here today, people coming together, believing our differences make us stronger, then we'd see some better legislation coming out of it. Thank you all. God bless. Oh my goodness, what an exciting day here in Louisville. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Governor Beshear. We appreciate you and everything that you do for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. My name is Amy Luttrell, and I have the absolute privilege to be the president and CEO for Goodwill Industries of Kentucky. And I'm going to be back up here in a few minutes to talk about this building and what we're going to do with this building. But what I'm going to do right now is just say a few things to introduce the mayor of our city, the mayor of Louisville. So this is a great building, and I just want you to know we did this project on faith. We started planning, and we planned to do a capital campaign. We planned to do a new markets tax credit. We planned to sell some property. We did plan to ask for some support for state and local government. But we didn't have any of that. We didn't have any of that at all. But we did have faith that we could do it, and I think there was good reason for that faith. When I come back up here in a few minutes, I'm going to talk some about Norton Healthcare, our sponsor for this campus. But right now, I want to talk about Metro Louisville government, because they are our second largest donor, for a total of $5 million. We would not be here without both Norton Healthcare and Metro Louisville, and we really appreciate that. Mayor Greenberg, we are so grateful to you and to the Metro Council for that vote of confidence that you took in Goodwill, and we are going to make sure that you look back on that decision as one of the best investments that you have ever made in the city of Louisville. We commit to doing that. If you're on the Metro Council, would you please stand so we could recognize you? Thank you so much. And we're going to be wonderful stewards of your investment. And with that, I want to welcome to the podium Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg. Come on up, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Amy. Congratulations to the entire Goodwill team and to everyone that helped make this possible. You know, what I'm thinking as I'm looking at them on this amazing crowd celebrating this amazing accomplishment is that old 1980s song that many people in this room weren't even born to hear yet. But there was an old jingle when I was a kid, and it was called "Look What We Can Do, Louisville." Today shows what we can do as a city when we work together. Just look at this turnout. Look at this support for this amazing accomplishment. You just heard the governor talking about all of the great things that are starting to happen in West Louisville. You've heard about how Goodwill worked together in partnership. We in Metro government, the Metro Council, our administration, is proud and honored to be here because this is an incredible and a historic day for West Louisville and for our entire city, because this represents a new chapter in the history of our city. For far too often, government and the private sector has overlooked West Louisville, has overlooked these 9 neighborhoods. And now, as we celebrate this center, we are saying to the entire city, to the entire state, to the entire country, that when we work together, great things can and will happen. This is a great example of working together in partnership with the private sector, the public sector, the nonprofit sector, and most importantly, in partnership with the people who live here in West Louisville, listening to what their needs are, what they want out of this center, out of Norton Hospital, out of the amazing Dare to Care project that's going to be happening across the street away. This is truly a transformational project for the people who are going to be served by all of the Goodwill services that are provided here and their partners. It's transformational for West Louisville, and it's transformational for our entire city. You can see what's starting to happen here in West Louisville. You can see the construction on the Norton Hospital. You can see what's happening a few blocks down on Broadway. And you heard what the governor was talking about, this great positive momentum. And I can tell you there is more yet to come. We are truly getting started. And we are truly getting started because Goodwill Opportunity Center has provided this spark. It is transformational and it is inspirational. Inspirational to me. It's inspirational to my colleagues on Metro Council, and it's inspirational to so many other organizations around the country, because when you think about what we're doing here and working together, we can do anything that we set our minds to here in Louisville. We can truly make our city safer, stronger, and healthier. We can continue to reduce gun violence. We can increase affordable housing. We can reduce homelessness. We can increase economic opportunities for people who live in West Louisville, for entrepreneurs in West Louisville, for people across the entire city. And when we work together in partnership like this, we can make big, bold things happen, like making universal pre-K a reality for all 3- and 4-year-olds across this entire city. So let's take today as a celebration. And tomorrow, let's continue to be inspired by what Goodwill has done. Let's continue to keep thinking big. Let's continue to keep working hard. And let's continue to keep working together to make things happen, to make West Louisville better, to make our entire city better, our entire state better. Because what we are showing here today, what Goodwill has shown, is that we are on the path to making our city and state safer, stronger, and healthier. Congratulations to Goodwill. Thanks to everyone who helped make this happen, and let's continue to transform our city. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you know that voting matters. We've got a big election coming up real soon, and many of us are paying attention to politics in ways that we haven't before. And that's why we at Goodwill have become very appreciative of the representation that we have for this project and the work that we do throughout the state. But right here in West Louisville, at the corner of 28th and Broadway, this is Senate District 33. And we've been very fortunate to be represented by a man who is fighting on our behalf right now in Frankfort, who is making sure that the needs, the desires, and the wants of West Louisville are heard throughout the hallways of Frankfort by people who in many instances will never make it to this community. And so I'm pleased today to welcome to the stage our state senator representing us from District 33 here in West Louisville, Senator Gerald Neal. Won't you welcome him?
Hello, Louisville. Man, if you could see what I'm looking at right now. My God, I was walking through this facility the other day, Devon took me through, and it was empty. There was no one in here but us walking through here, and I'm looking at you now, and you feeling every crack and crevice that's in here, and you look beautiful. Welcome, Louisville. Welcome, West Louisville. You know, I'm a native of West Louisville. I've lived in West Louisville all of my life, with the exception of going to college. And outside of that, maybe a few more years. But I'm proud of this community. I'm proud of the people in this community, and I want you to make no mistake about it. This is a community that is alive. It strives to do the best that it possibly can, and there's value and richness here. And just bringing this here right now, Goodwill Industries and Norton's, I got to tell you, is just an energizer. I am so excited I can barely stand it. Now, let me tell you, I bring you greetings from the Kentucky General Assembly, and particularly the Senate in which I serve. But I got to tell you that every time we have an addition like this to the community, and particularly this addition to the community, I'm telling you this is going to make a significant difference. So I want to welcome Goodwill Industries of Kentucky and welcome Norton Healthcare. What a powerful, intentional partnership. Goodwill Industries of Kentucky and Norton Healthcare, alongside, should be mentioned and has been mentioned, hope I don't miss anybody, pivotal community organizations such as Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Kentuckiana, Kentuckiana Works, Kentucky College of Barbering, Legal Aid Society, Park Community Credit Union, the YMCA Volunteers of America, and the University of Louisville School of Dentistry, and black coffee. That's important, black coffee, every morning. This is powerful. This is not just a walk in the park. This is powerful. It's powerful. This is also visionary. Just think about it. I did not know Dan Hall's role in this. Dan Hall, a personal thank you to you for that thought, and look what has happened, what has blossomed from that seed that you planted. But this is what comes when people come together and join together to make a difference. This is what happens when people of goodwill know that they're trying to uplift their fellow man and woman. This is what happened when hope is alive, and it's demonstrated in reality here. From the 2022 groundbreaking to this moment marks a new chapter. Yes, a new chapter for the Parkland neighborhood at 28th Street and Broadway. Disinvestment to reinvestment. Think about it. Disinvestment to reinvestment. The Opportunity Campus mission to contribute to the revitalization of West Louisville, serving its 65,000, is a watershed moment, make no doubt about it. The focus on addressing comprehensive needs of the community is pivotal. It is pivotal. The comprehensive nature of the Opportunity Campus, housing a variety of critical services and facilities that will significantly enhance the quality of life and economic opportunities for residents, is significant. The unique collaborative model that the community campus embodies demonstrates how nonprofit organizations can work together more efficiently and effectively to serve the community, making it easier for individuals to access a wide range of programs and services designed to foster self-sufficiency. The construction of this first comprehensive medical center in West Louisville in over 100 years, I heard the governor say 150 years, by Norton Healthcare is no small matter. This facility will address critical healthcare gaps in the community, offering services such as emergency room care, outpatient functions, and specialties in women's health, cardiology, and neurology. The expected creation of more than 200 jobs by Goodwill and its partners, with an additional 100 jobs through the Norton Healthcare facility, will significantly impact local employment opportunities with competitive wages. The construction jobs, granted, generated and the 18.7 million annual contribution to the local economy through the Career Services Program will be impactful. This site, moving from a brownfield area into a beacon of hope, from brownfield to hope, replacing a dilapidated industrial building with a vibrant campus that symbolizes community pride and optimism for a brighter future, is a transformative engine that will not only transform the physical makeup, but transform lives, equipping many with additional tools necessary for building self-sufficiency and prosperity. This is a dynamic model of what can be achieved when organizations unite with a visionary common goal of uplifting communities. So welcome, Goodwill Industries, welcome, Nortons, and welcome to you. Now wait a minute, everybody in this place is important, and I gotta tell you, I gotta take this back to Frankfurt. It's important that I do this. So I want everybody to get a real big smile on your face, because you're gonna go back to Frankfurt with me. All right, what about a chair? Yes. Okay, now I want to do one other thing, because I think I want to mark this. I think it's important to do this. Would Steve, Amy, and Devon, would you come up, please? So I want to do something that, when we want to mark something that's really important, okay, something that is, as I've said, transformative, something that I said uplifts communities and people, individuals. You heard the testimony when this began. I tell you, we could have stopped right there, quite frankly. But the fact of the matter is the work goes on. So, the Senate, the Commonwealth of Kentucky, I'm not going to read this all, because you know what it's about. To all to whom these presents shall come, greetings. Know ye that Goodwill Industries of Kentucky Opportunity Campus is recognized and honored upon the auspicious occasion of its ribbon-cutting ceremony on this Wednesday, March 20th, 2024, celebrating the completion of this extraordinary project. It goes on to say all that it includes in terms of responsibilities in the shops and the opportunities that you have here. I'm not going to go through that, but it does say this: all those who avail themselves of its many services is important. Said honoree is offered sincere congratulations upon this noteworthy occasion, is extended best wishes for many future years of success and good fortune, and on my motion and passed by the Kentucky General Assembly, the Senate being specific, we want to present you with this certificate from the Senate. Thank you. Thank you. Applaud these fine people. Thank you.
Let's thank again Senator Gerald Neal. He's on his way to Frankfurt to continue to fight for us, so we want to continue to lift him up as he does that work for us. You know, for those of you who've been on this journey with us for a while, you've heard this story that I'm about to tell, and I promise that I will retire this story after today. But it's important that it be noted today that I started work at Goodwill on May 13th, 2019. And on May 14th, our CEO, Amy Luttrell, came into my office and asked me in my role at Goodwill to prioritize three things. One, she said she wanted to make sure that we worked very hard to raise the awareness, visibility, and credibility of Goodwill throughout the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I think we've moved that needle. Two, she said she wanted us to open the very first high school for adults in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We've checked that box as well. And then she said our board, Dan Hall, the members of our board, had a desire to see West Louisville, to see Goodwill operate in West Louisville. And she asked me to lead the charge in helping Goodwill find a home in West Louisville. And so I set out on this quest to identify a place where Goodwill might call home in West Louisville. And the first call that I made in order to help find a location for us was to my friend Scott Love. Where's Scott Love? Scott Love, stand up. Scott Love, we would not be here today if it were not for Scott Love. Scott Love pointed me in the direction of 28th and Broadway and said, that's where you need to go knock on the door. And I did, and when I came knocking on the door, Cypress Solutions, Tube Turns, many of you know them, they used to occupy this 20-acre campus that we now own. But when we knocked on the door, it did not look like this. It was a 400,000 square foot, brownfield, dilapidated eyesore that stood on the corner of 28th and Broadway. And I will never forget when I looked at this and I saw what it could be. I was excited, and part of what you have to know is that I'm a West Louisville resident. I live in West Louisville. I was raised in West Louisville. This is home for me, and so I knew this corner, but I also knew the possibilities that could exist on this corner. And so I'll never forget, Mark Holman, our CFO, and I came through and we walked this campus and we talked to the owners. And we went back to Amy Luttrell, our CEO, and presented this as an option for Goodwill. And what you have to remember is that it didn't look like this. It was ugly. It was brown. It was dirty. It was an eyesore. And many people had overlooked it. And I'll never forget sitting that proposal in front of Amy to take a look at this as an option for Goodwill. And she looked at it. She looked up at Mark. She looked up at me. And she said, I love it. I love it. And it's because of that vision that she had to embrace what could be, not what was, but what could be, that we are here now in the new reality that exists on the corner of 28th and Broadway. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome back to the stage our president and CEO of Goodwill Industries of Kentucky, Amy Luttrell.
Thank you, Devon. And I just want to go back and thank Kai. I don't know where Kai went to, but I told him when he was getting ready to come up here, you know, this crowd is going to be more interested in anything that you have to say than all the rest of us put together. And he did great, didn't he? And if you're just patient with a few more of us who have to speak, we're going to end this ceremony with the same kind of thing that we started it with. So I am going to talk with you a little bit, a few minutes, about why we built this building and what we plan to do with it. But I want to do a couple of things first. And one of those things, the first thing I want to do is start by giving a great, big, lavish thank you to Norton Healthcare. So Russ Cox, I see you there, the Norton board, the whole Norton team. We didn't know that we needed you guys. You approached us, but we did need you to make this dream a reality. And we appreciate you so much. And we are really looking forward to being good neighbors with you when you get that big, beautiful building just to our south open a few months from now. So we'll all meet back here then, a few yards to the south, and celebrate that opening. So I want to ask you guys, there's a lot of us here, so I want you to help me. I want us to all say together, thank you, Norton Healthcare, on the count of 3, okay? You ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Norton Healthcare. All right, and now you can clap. All right. You know, the other thing I want to do is just say another word about our board. So our board chair, Hugh Hayden, talked about our board's roles, but I'm going to do what Devon did and quote a couple of dates here, just to give you a little perspective here. This has been part of our strategic plan for a number of years ago, and the board first approved the purchase of this property on March 6th, 2020. Okay, think about that date. By March 22nd, our 67 stores statewide were all closed. We had no revenue coming in. And what's more, we didn't have any idea when we would have revenue coming in, okay? So we went back to the board, and they approved it, but we hadn't closed on the property yet. So we went back to the board and said, "Are you sure?" And they said, "Yes, go ahead." So we bought this property on April 13th of 2020 when all of our stores were closed. And I think that is about all I need to say to demonstrate the depth of the commitment of our Goodwill Board of Directors. Please help me thank them one more time. So I do want to talk with you for a minute or two about what we're going to do in this building. We at Goodwill have committed ourselves to a goal of reducing the number of Kentuckians who live in poverty, okay? We want to reduce the number of Kentuckians who live in poverty. That's simple to understand, not simple, not easy to do. It is a big goal, but we have every reason to believe that we can accomplish that goal, not by ourselves, but with the right partners. You know, in America, we spend a lot of money helping people survive poverty, right? And we need those services. We need Medicaid and food stamps and all those kinds of things. But this Opportunity Center is about something else. This Opportunity Center is about changing it up. And the reason why is because we have seen that for thousands of Kentuckians who live in poverty, something better is possible. And nobody really wants to have to get food stamps and Section 8 vouchers for housing unless they really have to, right? That's not anybody's first choice of the life they want to have. So our goal at Goodwill is not to help people survive poverty, but to help them actually reach that point in life that we all think of as the middle class, where we have enough money to meet our basic financial obligations, but we also have some additional money that gives us choices in our lives. We can decide where we want to live, we can decide where we want to work, what we want to do with our free time, and we can plan our futures. That's a life not of survival, but the kind of life that we all aspire to. And that's what we want everybody in Kentucky to have. So why do we think that that's possible? Because not everybody thinks that's possible. Getting out of poverty is very complicated and it's difficult to do. And in fact, we see a lot of people who are born into poverty who never even expect anything else in their lives. But we have found that thousands of our fellow Kentuckians who live in poverty are very capable and, even more importantly, highly motivated. And I'm not only talking about people who are maybe just living on the edge, just barely poor. I'm including, and maybe even especially, people with a lot of barriers. People who are living in our prisons, coming out of our prisons, people who are living in drug treatment agencies, young people who don't have a family to take care of their needs, and people who are actually living on our streets in Louisville and throughout Kentucky. You know, I think a lot of times we don't expect much of people in those situations, and that's a mistake because they have a lot to offer our communities and they want to offer it. You know, in all my years in social services, I have never learned how to motivate another human being. But I have seen a lot of conditions and situations that demotivate people, things that sap the natural motivation that we all have to live a productive life. And I believe that the biggest demotivator in life is a lack of hope. You've heard some other people talk about hope this morning, and if you look around this campus, you see up here on the bridge, you see to your rear, you see outside in our parking lot this phrase, hope happens here. But what does it really take to restore hope to people who really don't feel any hope? And there are a lot of them, our neighbors. We think that it takes at least two things. And the first is, you know, it really means so much if we have somebody to walk beside us and help us over the rough spots. Somebody who cares about our success because they care about us. And many, many people, probably most, who come through our doors do not have that. They do not have a support system. And we all need a support system, don't we? No matter what our station in life or how old we all still need a support system. And if we don't have it, life is pretty tough. So we think that's one ingredient of restoring hope. The second is we must have real answers for all of the barriers that have held people back. What I'm talking about is taking a holistic approach to the problem of poverty and to barrier removal, not a piecemeal approach, because a piecemeal approach just does not work. We've seen that over and over again. It may make things better for a minute, but it does not make a long-term change in people's lives. So at these opportunity centers, we try to provide both of those things, real answers and somebody who cares. And over, we see the light come on in people's mind. And what we see hope catching fire with people. And that's when we see some great progress start to happen. We see people walking with their heads a little higher, their shoulders a little straighter. And what we're really seeing is the point that when people start to believe in themselves again, that's when they can really do what they're capable of doing. So if anybody tells you here in Louisville that our homeless problem is hopeless, or anybody tells you that our violence problem is hopeless, or anybody tells you that our addiction problem is hopeless, don't you believe that. It is not true. It may be that there's no cheap answers, there's no quick and easy answers, but there definitely are answers. And we believe that every single man and woman deserves a decent shot at a good life. Many have not had that, and we are here to expand that opportunity to people. So we dedicate our efforts at all of our opportunity centers to making that opportunity available to each person and to showing them that somebody cares, and that is why we built this center. We intentionally put all of our opportunity centers in areas where they'll be nearby to a lot of people who need the services, because we know that access is so key. If you need the services and they're on the other side of town from you, that doesn't do you any good. So our job in each of these centers, if we do our job right, and here in West Louisville, is that we will play an important role in helping the income level rise in our neighborhoods. And that's not because all the people who were poor have moved somewhere else. It'll be because the people who lived here all along now have good jobs and they are no longer poor. But you know, now that we've built this building, we don't want to just assume, well, we built it and they will come. We've got a lot of work ahead of us to make sure we're new neighbors. And so we want our new neighbors to very shortly be hearing from their friends and their families, you know, go over there to that Norton Healthcare Goodwill Opportunity Campus. They'll help you get your ID documents replaced. Or I took a great budgeting class over there. Or I went to the dentist over there. Haven't been to the dentist in a long time. You can go over there and get your teeth taken care of. Or you can go see an attorney. Or shortly you can go back and see a doctor on the same campus. So those are the kinds of things that we want to hear people saying very soon in West Louisville. So our task, now that we are in the West Louisville community, we've got to become part of the West Louisville community. We take that very seriously, and we're going to be doing a lot of things to make sure that we incorporate Goodwill into the fabric of Parkland and all the surrounding communities so that we make sure that this building and all the effort and money that's gone into it is absolutely worth it in changing lives. You know, you may have seen, but I forgive you if you haven't, but take a look on the way back. We have a medallion embedded in our floor at the entrance that's right off the parking lot. And that medallion is to memorialize Goodwill's founder, the big Goodwill everywhere, Edgar Helms. And Edgar tells us to be dissatisfied as long as anyone in our communities does not have that opportunity for what he called a maximum of abundant living. At Goodwill, we believe that every single person is worthy of that opportunity, is worthy of a hand up. That's what we call it at Goodwill. Because we believe every single person, no matter their past, has value and is worth it. So that's why we're all here. To our partners, we really thank you for putting your trust in us and coming here to join hands with us and offer this opportunity to the people who deserve it. To all of our supporters, we really thank you for the investment that you've made in this project. And again, we commit to bringing this to life in a way that every single day when you think about it, you're going to be glad that you did that. You know, Goodwill has been in Kentucky now for 100 years, since 1923. If you're here and you haven't had a tour, take a look at our history wall that's back in this part of the building. It tells some of that history. So with the opening of this facility, we are kicking off Goodwill's second 100 years in Kentucky. So tomorrow morning, after all this excitement goes down and we all go back about our business, what we need to have happen is that all of us join hands together and we get the work done. We get the work done that has to be done to extend that opportunity to every man and woman in Louisville and in Kentucky. Working by ourselves, none of us can provide the opportunity that people really deserve, but working together, we can do it. Let's do the work. Thank you. Okay, it is now my privilege to introduce Steve Preston, who is the President and CEO of Goodwill Industries International and traveled from the DC area to be with us today. So if you don't know what Goodwill Industries International, or we all call it GII for short, if you don't know what they are the keepers of the brand. I report to a Kentucky-based board, and Hugh is our board chair. But GII is there to provide services that can help all Goodwills be better. And here in Kentucky, we take advantage of a lot of those services. And they also make it possible for us to be connected to our Goodwill colleagues from all around the country. That is the reason why we have an adult high school here in Kentucky. We didn't come up with that idea. We borrowed it from a sister Goodwill, and GII makes sure that we all know each other and that we know what's going on and we can all help each other get better. Steve Preston joined GII in 2019, and he came to us with an impressive background in business and government at high levels. He has been the CEO of major corporations. He's headed up the Small Business Administration and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. He is a change agent, and he had plenty of career options. But Steve came to Goodwill solely because of the Goodwill mission. He saw the potential of Goodwills everywhere to change lives, and he wanted to be a part of that and promote that. And in all my years with Goodwill, I have not seen GII offer as much in the form of supportive services to all of our Goodwills as they do today. So we are very honored to have Steve with us today, and I'll just say that I am very honored to be able to call Steve my friend. Come on up, Steve.
Well, thank you, Amy. I have actually been looking forward to this day for a long time with great anticipation, ever since Amy shared the vision with me for what she believed was possible. And I knew that if Amy believed it was possible, it was probably going to happen, because Amy makes things happen, and she's backed by a tremendous team that also makes things happen. Amy is that leader that you saw just now with deep compassion and care, significant vision, coupled with sharp business acumen and the grit and tenacity to make things happen. And I know, because Amy served as the GII board chair, my board chair, for 2 years, and she and I worked closely during that period of time. So the other thing I should let you know is, because of that, and because of the example of this Goodwill, you all here are actually helping our entire national network get better. And let me tell you why that's important. As Amy mentioned, we support 154 local organizations across North America and partners across the world. But Goodwill collectively is big. We got $8 billion in revenue, 3,300 stores, 130,000 employees. And we serve 2 million people a year with various forms of support. And that includes hundreds of thousands of people who get job training and job placement support and move into all sorts of opportunities because of what Goodwill does. And in that number, we see tens of thousands of people who have served our country in the military, who've had, unfortunately, time in incarceration and need support to move forward, people with addiction issues, people who are homeless, and people with disabilities. So our scope is big, our impact is big, but it's not because we're a single big national organization. It is because we are a federation of local organizations embedded in their communities, just like Goodwill here, coming together with other local partners just like we see today to make a difference in the lives of people who are neighbors. Our strength is local. And I have to just pause and say, this is about as good as it gets. In my whole time in the job, I've never been in a local event this size. This is a phenomenal facility, and you need to know that the example that you have put in place here, through this facility, through community support, through all of these wonderful partners, will be an example for other people in local communities who are visioning what's possible there. They will be coming here and say, is it possible for us to do the same? So it's not just the wonderful things you're doing here. I firmly believe this is going to have massive impact on our capabilities across the country. As Amy mentioned, we didn't start out big. Goodwill started 122 years ago. She mentioned Edgar Helms. Look at his picture over there. Edgar Helms started in Boston, serving the poorest of the poor. And he realized one of the things he did is he collected clothing for poor people. And he realized that if we can repair that clothing and we can clean that clothing and sell it, we can actually create a business and give people jobs and give them a path to self-sufficiency. And in that same process, help them get the sense of dignity that comes with being able to take care of yourself and your families. And as you've all heard, Kentucky just celebrated their 100th anniversary. What a powerful way to commemorate that. And I just want to take a pause for a second and say, just think about the last 100 years. Just think about the number of individual lives that have changed because of the impact of Goodwill. Just think about the children and the multi-generational impact and how that fans out over a century. And the broader contribution to communities, to a healthy, flourishing community across Louisville. And now consider what's possible for the next 100 years. And I want to tell you why. Our services, just as Amy just described, the services that we provide are essential, and they're growing in importance because there is a major opportunity gap in our communities. Millions of people are not able to move out of poverty despite the prosperity and opportunity in our country. They are not enjoying the promise of America like so many of us are. Millions in our community are unemployed, underemployed, and working in low-wage jobs at the same time that today 9 million jobs are unfilled in our country. Many of them are good-paying jobs. And what employers are telling us is we want to fill those jobs, but we can't find people with the skills that we need. And as we look to the future, experts project that millions of low-paying jobs are going to go away. And so the problem could get worse. But at the same time, millions more are being created in high-earning positions. But what we see is to get those positions, people need the support and the skills to be able to candidate those jobs, for those jobs. So we need to provide people with pathways to those better jobs. And this Opportunity Center and other centers like it will be the places that people go to get on those pathways to a better life, which isn't just that first job. You need to know when people get into that first job, when they see what is possible, we see people changing the trajectory of their lives because they've broken through barriers, they have access, and they have opportunity that they've never seen before. So when I think about this, and I look back at our history at Goodwill, we exist because Reverend Helms believed in the inherent dignity and the God-given potential of every human being. And he committed his life to helping people make their potential a reality. And wouldn't he be blessed if he were here today to know that we all continue to share that belief, continue to invest ourselves in that commitment to people, and to see the remarkable legacy that we celebrate today. Thank you. And I'm going to steal a page from the Senator's notebook. He may take it to Frankfurt, but I'm going to show everybody in the country this one. All right, everybody wave. Wave. Woo! Thank you.
So ladies and gentlemen, I want to be really clear. We did not get to this point alone. Goodwill, when it made the decision to be here at 28th and Broadway, spent 6 months engaging the community, asking the community what it liked about West Louisville, what it found challenging, what resources were necessary here in the community. And for those of you who are sitting, you see in your chairs fans. You see those fans? Those are not just Sunday fans that you would see at church. Those are fans that were responses we received back from the community. Literal surveys that community members responded to tell us what they liked about the community, what they wanted to see in this facility. And we took so much of that to heart that we wanted to make sure that we communicated that back to you as community members to know that we heard you loud and clear. But it wasn't enough that we just did surveys. We also established at Goodwill a West Louisville Community Advisory Council who we've assembled to help us understand the needs, the desires, the wants of the community. And one of those members is here with us today. I'm so very proud to call her a friend. She does incredible work in this community, and I'm thankful that she's sharing her insights with us at Goodwill on how to be a better neighbor in West Louisville. Won't you join me in welcoming Stacey Bussey to the stage?
I love y'all too. Devon Holt is the only person that will make me push back my very first vacation a day to be here. People have said a lot of stuff, and I've been thinking about what I was gonna say, but really y'all said it all. And so what I want to do is, it's a lot of people that we will call important in my world, in my community. We got a whole lot of important people on the first 3 rows, maybe about 4, 5, maybe first 10 rows. There's a lot of important people here who came to see about West Louisville. But I want to be very, very clear that I'm so glad that Goodwill is here. But I'm also glad that the people of West Louisville, right, are here to represent, right? It's a whole lot of people in here, right? And I know this, these first couple rows, but I'm talking to the people who had a little more hope to come out and figure out today what was being built and what was being opened. So yeah, I'm gonna go as quick as I can because I got a plane to catch, and God was good because it got on a delay. Listen, in the words of Biggie, it was all a dream. And it is always a dream until it what? Actually materializes. I'm going to give you 3 P's because I am a preacher sometimes. And what does this opportunity means for us? It means hopeful partnerships, not just for larger businesses, but for smaller nonprofits and smaller businesses. And when I say small business, I'm talking about the little boy or the little girl who you're going to meet who's going to sell you some M&Ms when you walk in this door. Right, I'm talking about partnerships because Goodwill is smashed right here between Elder Serve, Dare to Care, Play Cousins, One West, Urban League, and all of those are being led by black people. I'm talking about partnerships for people who wouldn't ordinarily be able to get access to people who they need to help their businesses and their nonprofits grow. But it's not just about partnerships. Somebody said it earlier. It's about hopeful progress. Progress sometimes, it's 2 different sides to progress. Sometimes it's hopeful progress, and the other time it's like, I don't know about this kind of progression, right? So even we've come far, and we know we still have a ways to go. For people who like, I know we got this, but we also need something else. Hold on, we're going to get there. Right, I'm thinking through the times that we've already navigated as a city and as a community. We've seen some of our toughest times. The 2020 protests, shout out to Breeway, where our streets were filled with people who were fighting for justice and reforming policies. Right, I'm talking about a city that has come together because we've seen violence and homelessness rise at a rate, and we got to make sure that people like Goodwill and our government still are caring about those things, right? I'm talking about we've seen some tough times as a city where we had to deal with some tough stuff, and right now we're trying to still figure out how we're going to bust our babies and make sure our babies get to go to the schools that they actually want to go to, right? I'm talking about some tough stuff, right? And because of the community that we've seen some tough stuff, now we get to see the manifestation of the hard work of those people who've been working on the tough stuff, right? So I'm talking about a hopeful progress where Goodwill has come, but it don't end with Goodwill. We waiting on some other people to come on down to the West End, right, and keep coming because we got about we go all the way to Block 45. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about, right, I'm talking about hopeful, I'm talking about hopeful for progression where we know that it didn't start with Goodwill, so it can't end with Goodwill. I'm talking about hopeful progression where we keep investing in people beyond the photo shoots and the photo. What I'm talking about is hopeful progressions, right? Classrooms and computer labs, and I'm just reading off the thing. Food start classrooms and skills and banks and RISE classrooms and how I'm talking about real hopeful progression, right? Because that's when it actually materializes, right? But the last thing I want to talk about, and I do appreciate all the dignitaries on the front row. I'm talking about the last thing I want to bring up is, you know what this represents? It represents a hopeful people. And this is what I know, right? I'm almost done. See, y'all didn't think I could do it, right? But I'm talking about a hopeful people, right? A community that has literally been ignored for years after years after years, right? A community that people say, we don't know, can anything good come from the West End? Well, Devon Holt did, and Stacey Bussey did, and Jessica Green did, and Vincent James. I'm just talking about some people, right? People asking, and you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to tell you, I'm just trying to bring you a little bit into my world. So a hopeful people, right? Where jobs won't just be created, but they will be, and they won't just be available, but they will be accessible, right? I'm talking about education resources that won't just be available now, but they are accessible. I'm talking about financial resources that are not just available somewhere downtown, but now they are accessible right here in the hood. I'm talking about healthcare resources and the hospital rigs that won't be that we got to go all the way downtown when somebody gets sick. We can just come down the street because that's what we do. And it ain't just down the street. Sometimes it's what? Around the corner. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about legal services, right? I'm talking about legal services where you don't got to call somebody on the phone and see. They're going to be just right here around the corner. Right? You're going to have to just spin the block to find your lawyer. You see what I'm talking about? I'm just talking about stuff that has for years been available but not accessible to the 65,000 people who live in the West End. When I'm talking about its opportunity happens when the gap closes between availability and accessibility. And that right there, hopeful progress help us manifest a hopeful people. And let me tell you something about a hopeful people. We are real powerful people. You know what I'm saying? And when people start getting their energy, kind of like you doing right now, when people start seeing like Devon can do it, well, so can I. If Stacey can do it, So can I. If Vincent James can be the CEO of Dare to Care, guess what? So can I, right? So now what you do, it materializes hope, right? And I know you got a whole lot of no's, right? But today that one yes has manifested, Divine. Today that one yes has manifested to legacy that will carry to our kids far beyond the 100 years and the 200 years that Goodwill celebrates. I'm talking about a hopeful people, and a hopeful people is a powerful people. And I'm talking about 70,000 people who I feel like they're getting their energy back. And I'm talking about people who like, you know what, we can get a grocery store. And I'm talking about people who like, you know what else we can get? We can get some shopping centers. And I'm talking about some people who like, you know what, we can open more black businesses because we have an opportunity to grow. And what I know is a hopeful people is a powerful people. And what I learned in the 2020 protest, it ain't no power like the power of a hopeful people, because the power of a hopeful people cannot be stopped. I'm just saying, I'm getting excited because I know Goodwill ain't just say it, right? You ain't just talking about it, but you're going to be about it. So I'm talking to you. So here's what I'm saying to you. And I know and I'm almost done. They're looking at me because it's time for my flight to go. But what I'm trying to say is I feel good today because it wasn't just a dream, but that dream has now materialized. And the distance between a dream, right, and a materializes is you got to have a little hope. So am I looking, so can you join with me, right, and help me not just, we already materialize and manifest the Goodwill, but do I got any people in here do you feel hopeful today? Do you got some hope today? Do you got some hope that the violence in our community is going to clear up? Do you got some hope that we're going to have enough housing? Do you got some hope that we about to get some new jobs? Do you have some hope that we about to get some shopping centers? Do you have some hope that some people about to get off Section 8 and buy their house? Do you have some hope that we about to get our education? Do you have some hope that we not just going to get our GEDs, but our PhDs is on the way? Do you have some hope, right? Do you have some hope? Will you have some hope? And we see what Goodwill was going to do, but the question becomes, what you going to do, right? Do I got a hope for people? Are you hopeful today? Are you hopeful today? Are you hopeful today, right? Right, and that's really all I had. And I'm in this because this is my staple, right? And I'm going to sit down. Lean on me. Come on, let's light this place up. When you're not, I'm just making sure I am. And come on, let me hear you sing it. What? I'll help you. Real loud, what? Guess what? What you gonna have? Till I'm gone. What you gonna need? What? You just call.
Real quick. We've got 4 cars next to Kroger's that are about to be towed. And so I know we're having a beautiful time, and we're almost done. We're about to wrap up here shortly and have everyone tour the building, see every nook and cranny of this space, because I want you all to experience it. But I also want you to be mindful that there is a Kia, there is a Jeep, there is a Lincoln, and there is a Maxima Altima, all black, interestingly enough, right across the street at Kroger that need to be moved. All right.
All right, let's give Stachel one more hand. I feel like I've been to church. Well, like like Devon said, we are getting near the end, but we're going to have a real strong finish, so you're not going to want to miss that. You know, I do just want to say another word to what you've already heard about the efforts of our employees here. We just have a great team statewide. We got about 2,200 people. And I just appreciate so many of our people that have played a role in this project and have given money to this project. And you know, when people ask me, because I get asked this every once in a while, how would you define the culture of Goodwill? And that's an easy question for me to answer these days, because I just say, you know, every last one of us at all 100 locations across the state, we are all in for the mission. If you are a janitor, you're an accountant, you're a cashier, you're helping us all with our IT, no matter what you're doing at Goodwill, every last person knows what our mission is. And you know how they know that? We don't have to send around talking points for people. They know it because they look around them and they see their coworkers, and many times they see themselves as having been the recipients of services, having had some of the same backgrounds that you've been hearing about this morning. So they're living it. Nobody has to tell them what the mission is. They know very well what it is, and we are all in for the mission. Just give our employees a hand, would you please? And now I want to recognize my executive team. You've heard from Devon, and I want you to also hear from Rena and Mark here in just a minute before we wrap this up. And I would have to stand up here all day if I tried to tell you all the things that they've all three done, because it's been a huge project, and it's been a labor of love, and it still is. Let me start with Devon. He told you about, right after he came here, we already had this plan. We wanted to be in West Louisville. We didn't have a location yet. We knew we wanted to be on Broadway because Broadway has the best bus service, and we want to have a lot of people who ride the bus come here. We looked at some properties, just hadn't found one that was just right, but it didn't take long for Devon and Scott Love to unearth this plot that we're standing on right now. We did immediately see its possibilities, and the rest is history. But Devon also led a 6-month process to get input from people in West Louisville, because we didn't just want to come here and say, well, here we are, we hope you like it. We wanted to come here and make our plans based on what we heard back from the community. So that was a multi-step process to get input from people who live here, people who do business here, other nonprofits, anybody we could get on our list. And then finally, he's been leading our capital campaign, which, as he mentioned, and I'll second, is not quite finished. If you haven't had a chance to give to it yet, there's room for your name on the board. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there. We're not that far away. But most of all, Devon has put his heart into this project. And you know why that is. He told you why that is, because West Louisville is his home, and he wants the absolute best for West Louisville, and we're here to help those things happen. So I want you to ask me to give, I want to ask you to give Devon a big round of applause. Thank you, Devon Holt. Yeah. And then I want to tell you about Mark Holman. Mark Holman is our Chief Financial Officer, and he has had charge of making sure that this project went well from the time we first did due diligence on the property to building the whole facility, and then making sure that we're ready to open our doors today. And his job's not over, because he's going to have a lot to do with making sure that we operate this facility well and pay for it so that it can fulfill its purpose. And Mark and Andrew Wise, who's our Director of Finance and Accounting, they learned from scratch not only just how to do a new markets tax credit, which, you know, $7.5 million toward this project. They learned how to do it well, And they learned how to do it so that the most possible value would be returned to this project. So Mark has taken this project very personally from start to finish. He's been involved in numerous ways, and it really shows in the end result, doesn't it? So help me thank Mark Homan for all of his efforts. We got some fans, Mark. And then I want to tell you about Rena Sharp. You know, this facility is very nice, and it certainly looks better than a defunct manufacturing plant looked on this corner, but in the end, Goodwill is not really about building pretty buildings. You've heard about our mission, and we are dedicated to reducing poverty in this part of Louisville, in every part of Louisville, and helping people build more satisfactory lives for themselves. So Rena Sharp is our Chief Operating Officer, and she has charge of how we carry out our mission. So that program model that you're gonna see here in the Opportunity Campus and all the others throughout Kentucky, she's in charge of that. She's led design of that model, and she is the one who has led our whole career services team and pushing in assembling this group of partners to join us here and at all of our centers. And also, Rena's the one who really pushed for us to have these opportunity centers in 9 Kentucky communities. Help me thank Rena Sharp. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Mark Homan, our Chief Financial Officer, and then he is going to turn it over to Rena Sharp, our Chief Operating Officer. Thank you.
I need a hug. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you, Amy. I was afraid I was going to follow Stachel. All right. First, I want to thank my family. They're back there. Julie, Allie. Well, Jane's at home. She's sick. But I love you guys, and I wouldn't be able to do this work without a supportive family. So family first. That's how I run my team. And I'm going to thank my team, and I'm going to thank them rapidly because there's 1,000 people here, and it's amazing. So first of all, I have a friend here, Josh Hewlett. Just come up quick because I think everyone needs to see Josh. There's one person in this project that owned this project more than anyone else, and it's Josh Hewlett, Goodwill's project manager. I just want to thank Josh. He probably took 1,000 Zoom meetings with every contractor. He had to do the work of listening to every partner, design every space. Probably even harder, every department within Goodwill, what do they want in each one of their rooms that you're going to see in a minute. So thank you, Josh. But his partner in crime, Eric Brown. Where's Eric? Come on, Eric, just quick and say hi. Construction. He wouldn't be possible to do what we did. We were quickly overwhelmed, realizing we built a lot of stores, but not a $50 million, 125,000 square foot multi-use facility. We needed help, and Eric provided that. Thank you, Eric. Eric also, before he came on, there was a guy named, there were 3 Johns. There was John Barnett, there was John Austin, and John Talbot. And each one of those, that's our attorney. You usually don't thank an attorney, but we do. I want to thank John Talbot. John Barnett helped to buy the building. And for about 2 years, we helped to do the demolition, the remediation, took care of the asbestos, and made it ready and safe for everyone to be here. And it's a great facility. Studio A team, are you here? Thank you, Ryan. Oh, thank you, Tony Butler. Thank you. Calhoun Construction, can you stand up? Because I really want to especially thank Anthony Mitchell, our site super, Cedric Riley. Where's Cedric? He's got a baby. Our assistant super, Jeff Weisty. And I think John Henshaw is here too, the CEO. So thank you guys. It was an amazing project. I don't think we definitely could have done it without you. So love you guys, thank you. We built this on an aggressive schedule. We're here, we're done. The Goodwill board established a goal. This is an important goal, and I want everyone to hear this. They said we're going to have 25% minority workforce inclusion. We're going to have 27% of the dollars spent here spent on companies that are owned by minority businesses. We doubled our goal. This wouldn't be possible. Daryl Mathis, he said he was going to be close. There's Daryl. Daryl Mathis of Mathis Construction. He collaborated with Calhoun. Yeah, Daryl's a great guy. He collaborated with Calhoun, and he made sure, because we heard from people it wasn't possible, maybe 5% MB participation, but he made sure we were serious, the board was serious about this, and Eric Brown and others worked with every contractor, whether they were minority-owned or not, and said, this community should participate in the building of this building. And they made that happen. So thank you again, Daryl. To call out Robert Springfield. He was an example of Springfield Plumbing. He may be here. He can stand up if he is. He's a great man who had over 10,000 hours of work in this job. Okay, that's 1/6 of the total minority hours, which was 60,000 hours of time of the 100,000 hours to build this building. It takes a lot of time to build this kind of a building. So 60,000 of those hours were done by people in this local area and by people who represent this community. I'm proud of that work. Thank you. So now to the money. I am the CFO. So the MBE spend should not go without being said. That was $15 million went towards businesses, like JR Contracting. They used the Urban League to help recruit people to, again, work on this place so they could be part of this great effort. But New Markets Tax Credit, that's an obscure thing. I will not bore you with how that works. But I will thank the people, and I see Brian right there. I'll have Brian stand up for 1 second. Brian Oxford came from North Carolina, and he funded us with $10 million of allocation. KHEC really was the first date to the prom. We kept selling this project, selling this vision. I was selling air, and they were the first ones that believed in this. And Brian, thank you for believing in this. Second is Marty. Is Marty here? Marty Richardson, she may have left, it's been a long time. So Marty, we thank you. Old National Bank matched their $10 million of allocation and also made an equity investment in this community. Those things don't happen unless people believe. And I'll say that this is I'll end with an anecdote. I remember Devon, Marty and I, it was a nice day, we'd already cleared the building, and Devon was sharing, he had sunglasses on, he looking cool, and he was sharing a vision for what this could be, and Marty just was believing in it, and I was believing in it. I was like, I don't know if we could do this, but it was amazing, and Marty believed, and Old National believed, and they had a tragedy of their own, but they stuck by us, and I thank Old National Bank. So from Old National, we have Marty Richardson, Amy Brown, and Darren McCauley. If you're here, just wave your hand. From U.S. Bank, Tom Oldenburg and David Womble, they're investors. Thank you. I know Tabitha flew in from Baltimore. I hope you're here. Tabitha, say you're here. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Thank you, Tabitha. From Cross Street Partners, Urban Action Community Development, we already thanked Brian and Steve Urey from KHEC. LISC, he's already got some love, but let's give Scott Love some more love. Thank you for investing in us, Scott Love. And the last two were Brownfield and Lower Brule, totaling $43 million of new market allocation and close to $8 million. I did a hard round, Amy, to $8 million. So thank you very much, but I want to thank, again, Devon, Amy, Rena for this opportunity, and Rena's going to speak to you. She's a tireless champion for people that need a second, third, fourth, fifth, 19th chance. Come on up.
Hey, is everybody still with me? I really didn't know what I was going to see when I looked out there because I know it's kind of going long. And so the good and the bad of being the last one to get up here before our mission speaker is that most everything I was going to say has been said. So imagine me being a little short for words. Most of you who know me know that's not usually the case. So I want to start by just saying how incredibly blessed I am to be a part of Goodwill Industries of Kentucky. I want to thank Amy Luttrell, who believed in me, spent 29 years in automotive manufacturing, and when I talked with her about this opportunity, I really didn't think it was for me. But I have been living the time of my life. When I tell you the last 7 years, I bounce out of bed every single day to come and do this work. And it's so inspiring because of every one of you here. I know so many of our employees are here that have benefited from our programs and services that we operate every day. When I walked in here for the first time, When everything was done and I was able to walk in my office, most who know me also know I'm not a very emotional person. And the day that I walked in, something just snapped in me because of the incredible work and the lives that I know are going to change, because of everybody believing in this project, because of you all believing in me, because of Amy believing in me, and what the board has done to dedicate to us is short of amazing. I want to thank just a couple of people. Really, I know we've been thanking a lot of people, but we don't do this alone. You know, none of us stand alone. From Amy Long, who has been amazing to us. She literally has run this whole show, to Devon's team. I mean, I can't even imagine how we would have done this without you guys. I want to have Mark Daniel, our VP of Operations, to stand up. I know he's here somewhere. And I want to have anyone who's here from our Goodwill retail operations. I know many of you are probably watching online, but we have over 1,800 employees in our stores. So if you're here from our retail operations, Mark and those people, please stand up. Their dedication and hard work, they hang a lot of blouses. We hang millions of blouses every single year that our generous donors bring to drop off at our stores. You might drop those off because you need to get rid of some stuff in your house, but hopefully you know that those blouses are turning into real changed lives, and it means a lot to us. We also heard from from Devon, about the retail employees that have donated their final dollars to help make this project happen, because they've benefited and they've seen that we don't just talk the talk, we really do walk the walk at Goodwill. I was in Paducah last year in the fall, and usually when we go in the stores, Amy and I go to every single location at least once a year, and we go from Pikeville to Paducah, so that's not easy. And we always go, and we just love meeting our valuable employees and hearing about their life and hearing about what we've done for them and what they're doing for us, and that really is what inspires us every day. But this day I was in Paducah, and not too long before that, Devon and his team had made rounds across the whole state to talk about this capital campaign. Devon Hope can raise some money, y'all. So this gentleman was a material handler in our Paducah store, and when I walked in and introduced myself to him, I said, can I help you with anything? Is everything going okay? And you know, usually when you ask that, they'll tell you. And so he said, you know, Miss Rena, he said, I gave up smoking. You know that smoking cessation program your wellness department has? He said, I finally gave up smoking, but I haven't got my check yet. They will tell you. I said, well, sir, I'm sorry. When I get back to the office, I'm going to check into that for you. And as I said goodbye to him and I started to walk away, he said, Miss Rena, can I tell you something? He said, you know, those folks from corporate that came down here and talked about that building you are building in Louisville, he's from Paducah. He said, I gave them $50 out of every paycheck, so $100 a month. Now, this gentleman's probably making $13 or $14 an hour. And he said, you know why I did that? And I said, why? And he said, because you see this smile? I was a benefit of your Good Smiles program where you helped me to fix my smile. He said, I have housing because of Goodwill. He said, I was homeless, and I have housing because of Goodwill. And he named off multiple things in his year and a half working for Goodwill that we had done to help him. And he said, I know in full confidence that my money is going to go to do that for somebody else. Now that is a testimony. Next, I want to thank Martha Stevenson. Martha, where are you, and can you stand up? Martha is our Vice President of Career Services, and she operates all of these opportunity centers with her leadership across the states. Anyone else in Career Services that works under Martha's leadership, will you please stand up? All of our Career Services, coaches, facilitators, teachers, whoever you are, stand up back there. You know, when people ask us what credential you have to be a career coach at Goodwill, and by the way, we have over 100 career coaches working in Kentucky, over 100. When they ask us what credential, what degree you need, we tell them you need to have empathy and energy. Because, you know, so often we have to see it in them before they can see it in themselves. And if you don't have that, you can't work in our career services department. We will help you find another job. We do that, but you can't work here. So a big part of my speech today was about our partners. The governor and I think the mayor, everybody took my thunder and named them all off. They've been named a few times. But I would like for the amazing partners that are co-locating in here with us, anyone else that's a partner, you know, we'll have a lot more partners in this building than just the ones that you see on the walls, because we make it possible to bring in services, a lot of services, so that access is easier for people that already have a difficult time to get what they need. So if you're a partner that's been named today, or another partner that's going to be coming into this space, please stand up and get a round of applause for them. You know, it really is true that if you don't care who gets the credit, you can do a lot. Somebody once said that. My husband would know. He's pretty good at that. So, Amy told you we were saving the best for last. I'm going to ask our Another Way team to join me on the stage. Come on up, guys. Another Way, I hate that the mayor has left, but Another Way is a team. Come on up. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. So Another Way is a partnership with Metro Louisville and Goodwill. It's led by our Director of Career Services, Kimberly Boyd-Lane, right here, and our Program Manager, Sharon Allgaier. In this program, they go out to the camps, to the streets, the underpasses. They offer individuals an opportunity to go to work, meaningful work. They share a nutritional meal with them. And they go back to the Goodwill Opportunity Center and get a stipend, and they access the amazing resources that we have to offer. However, the secret sauce of the Another Way team is its commitment to instilling hope and fostering a sense of possibility. Our team members show unhoused individuals that there is an alternate path, another way, one filled with promise and opportunity. Since we started this program a couple of years ago, there have been more than 3,000 unique individuals get on the vans. 3,000. Just last year alone in 2023, 142 were placed into housing. They're my biggest cheerleaders back here. 322 obtained their identifications. You know, you can't do anything without your ID paperwork, right? And nearly 200 gained full-time employment. We all see them out there. We drive by them every day. They may be holding a sign. They may be under a tent because it's cold. We drive by. We know they're there. Many people, and I can say that maybe I've been guilty of that at some time in my life, full transparency. We really think they want to be there. You know, we really think, you know, there's a lot of jobs. If they wanted to work, they could get rid of that sign and they could go to work. You know, that's just not true. It's just not true. And I hope if you don't remember anything that I've said today, you remember the words of the gentleman who's getting ready to talk to us, because he's going to tell you how it's possible if somebody just says, oh, you can. And you know, sometimes you have to say you can 10 times. Sometimes you have to say it 10 times. Keep saying it. When you drive by those camps next week, next month, I want you to really notice them. They're potential. They are potential. They are the ones who can fill the open jobs. They are the ones who can get their children back. They can do it. We have to believe it, and we have to make it possible by doing things like this amazing center. This building is beautiful, but it's not nearly as fantastic as the work and the lives that are going to be changed here. This program truly shows that given the right supports, individuals who have been written off by society can not only survive, but they can thrive. So to share one great example of this work and this team, our final speaker today is someone that I have come to learn and can actually call him a friend. His name is Giovanni Salmaron. Sure I said that wrong. I apologize in advance. He is currently a full-time employee, as you can see, of Goodwill as an outreach specialist on the Another Way team. Giovanni.
Thank you. Hi. First, I want to personally thank, I think he already left, our president, councilman. I think he left already, but I want to thank him, and I want to thank Deputy Mayor too, Nicole George, for doing what you guys do, for believing on us, for the commitment to help our people in our community, for Goodwill's commitment to provide hope in another way to people. I was born in California, but I grew up in Mexico. And my whole life, since I was a kid, I always just wanted to prove something. To who, I don't know. But I just wanted to prove something. I was always trying to be tough, showing somebody I'm better than them. Just tell me what to do. I can show you what I'm about. And all that just took me to addictions, prison. That's why when you were talking, that got me. I have a 14-year-old daughter that I haven't seen since almost 12 years because I was doing what I thought was the right thing to do, or what I thought was the way to live, or what I thought was gonna get me out, or to whoever I was, or to whoever I was trying to become. Before I came to Louisville, I did prison time before that because I went to Juarez, Mexico. You might have heard about Juarez. I had never been there at that time. I was 16 years old, but like I said, I wanted to prove that I was, or I wanted to show them who I was. And I went there, and maybe you have heard about Juarez. So I was doing all that till I got caught coming across from Mexico with pounds of marijuana. I went in due time, got out, went back and do the same. One day, I remember, because I will never forget this, when I begged my friend, or who I thought it was my friend. I begged him, hey, can I come with you? Because I knew what he was gonna do, or who he was gonna meet, and I wanted to meet that people, because I wanted to show them who I was. So he told me no. He was like, no, just stay there. You know what I mean? You can prove that to somebody else, not me. You have proved it to me. I don't need you to come. The last thing I told that person was the F word. I said, all right. That was the last thing I told him, because he never made it back. He saved my life that night. So they sent me to Louisville. All right, you want to prove something, go to Louisville. Go to Louisville, show us who you are. Show us what you can do. I was here for 4 months till I got caught again. went back and do more prison time. And man, that was rough. Those years were rough. Everybody left me, who I thought it was my friends, who I thought it was my family, who my girl was. Everybody. All of them were gone. I got out without nothing, not a single thing. I didn't have a dime in my pocket, nothing. And I was still thinking about doing the same thing because that's all I knew. That's all I thought I was good at. So I was just going, like I said, I don't know nobody, I'm not from here. And I always been myself. Sometimes they'll be like, why you always by yourself? Why you like to be too quiet? I don't know, I always been this way. And one day I was just sitting outside a shelter. Sitting outside, just lost, without knowing what to do. And these guys saw me. And they were like, hey, you want to make $50? Yeah, I needed $50. It's like, yeah, I want to make $50. What do I need to have? Well, what do you have? I ain't got nothing. They gave me everything. Everything that I needed. They're still giving me. They still do. I never knew what Goodwill does. I never knew what Goodwill has. And Goodwill has given me what nobody has. And that's happiness. That's, I'm sorry. That's hope. That's peace. Family. Friends. People that really cares about people. People that got a heart for people. People that sees people. So, I'm not here to tell you my story. I'm here to tell you that I appreciate for everything that everyone in here does. And that's share love with people. Real love. So I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank the Another Way program that's been teaching me to be a man. I'm 32 years old, and this is the first time that you're here saying that I'm a man. Or that at least I'm trying. Because now I'm around real men. You know? Real men, real women, real friends, real people. So, thank you. Tori. Thank you. Farah, Sharon, Stefan, everybody in here, thank you. Thank you for everything you guys do. Oh, Tori, by the way, that's my housing manager people. Goodwill has given me for my Social Security something that I never had. Never. They gave me housing. Now I own my own place. I don't own it yet, but I will. Soon. And oh my God, you guys are awesome. Every single one of you are awesome. And I want to be part of this family forever. I do. I really do. So that's how I'm going to finish this. Just like saying thank you. Just thank you.
All right, let's cut a ribbon and start touring this building. Can we do that? All right. We're about to wrap up. I'm going to ask our board, everybody here on the front row, join me up front on stage. We're going to fill this space here. Allie, you're going to help with that. We're going to move this desk here. I'm going to hold the microphone and see if we can get some muscle to move this here. I want to say one more thing before we leave out of here. We've got a few more people we want to acknowledge. One, I want to make sure, Amy, that we acknowledge Roland Blahnik, who was the CEO, president of Goodwill for many, many years. He's here with us here today. Thank you, Roland, for being here. We really appreciate that. And I'm going to ask, come on, let's fill this place up. We're going to cut a ribbon so we can get this party started. On stage.